on. Bing,
Looks
bing.
like Hangout Connection is the one you want.
You think rather than WSO HOA Connect?
Yeah, I mean, it looks, let me see. Let me just verify that.
Oh, I guess, well, actually, so there's going to be a pairing session on LocalSupport, but we're just thinking about bits of website one. Yeah, I guess the critical thing is in the, is what is the, oh Christ, what's it called? What is the Google app pointing to? Because I think that the Google app determines which thing it points to. Where is this thing? Which I have to go through the Google console to, and I have to select in a different. And what? Because we reach into. No, I can't find this. Enabled APIs, Google Hangouts API. Could this be any more complicated? API configuration. Yeah, you're right. It's getting it from Hangout. The code is being pulled off Hangout Connection. So looks like we are pulling via. So seems that Hangout Connection is used and WSO HOA Connect is not at the moment. Okay. Let's add the Hangout connection as well, and we'll get to the bottom of that.
What is that under?
They're both under Agile Ventures.
Huh.
And I think it's, you know, at one point I think Thomas started rebuilding a version of Yarrow's.
I don't have access to it.
So you don't have access to it?
I don't see it, yeah.
Let's have a look.
I have AgileBot.
Hangout connection is public. I mean, are you clicking on the links in the Slack?
No.
Click on the links in the Slack.
What?
In the website one channel. Both of them are public repos.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not that link. There's two links above where I link to the actual.
Two links above?
Yeah, I mean, in the Slack chat, I was just replying to Raoul and pointing to that XML, which you've just opened. But,
yeah.
Like, I've asked him there, do we know the difference between
right
those two links?
So we're just pulling it directly off GitHub?
We are, yes. So that Hangout connection repo corresponds to our production server or production code base.
And we just have these gems in here to test it locally.
I have no idea. I don't know that I've necessarily pulled that out particularly.
It's like what it is, yeah.
I mean, I guess if we look at the commits on Hangout connection, yeah, so Yarrow, Alejandro, and then Raul. And then
I thought maybe there was actually a server-side component to it. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there are.
No, there's not.
Yeah, not in that repo.
Yeah. It's just being pulled in as an asset. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But then, so the Hangout connection appears to be an almost identical clone of it in some ways. No, sorry, I'm looking at that's Hangout. God, what am I like? Not really fine.
But there's been a significant amount of commits.
Yes. Okay. So and the WSO HOA Connect is. I think that's just something that Thomas started on.
Yeah.
So I'll just move the let's. just move there and put the issue in there. In the right repo. Okay, that's better. Okay, close that issue. Okay, well, we've worked one thing out this morning. Right, yeah, LocalSupport. Let's get rid of this over here. So, I'm a bit surprised about that. With that error we had on production. I mean, the only thing I can think about it, I mean, I did a fix to experiment with something on production to increase the I forgot what it's called now, the confirmation or invitation expiration thing, which may have had some side effect that I didn't anticipate.
I don't get why that deleted that as a production.
Yeah, that seems extremely strange, given that I just merged that and merged it into develop.
Right.
Like, you know, I think while we were in session in the prep, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that's this thing. How on earth did that get onto production? I mean, I guess the thing to do is to have a look at. I've got the Harrow production thing. Unless the pipeline has gone all screwy. I mean, it's got this experimental Heroku feature. But so the activity, what do we see of the activity? So it's about 3 hours ago, it deployed 9F4A, which is not that one. What I'm surprised about there is that it's got us down as having a, like 3 days ago, this was on Friday, I set the device secret key. But for some reason here, yeah, it's got like 3 hours ago, it's saying that I deployed.
It says auto deploys develop. That seems wrong.
Yeah, where are you seeing auto deploy develop?
Under the app.
In settings?
Let me show you. See?
Give me
ROCN production. Auto deploys develop. That's definitely wrong.
Yeah, and I don't think well, that's very strange. Yeah, and that's the pipeline feature, which I always seem to struggle to find. So this, anyway, I've got it over here on this other screen. Yeah.
It's under the
Yeah, I mean,
if you just click the app itself under the apps list,
right,
it's there. So how do I change that? Maybe you have to change it.
well, the funny thing here is if we look at my screen, let's bring this onto here. The funny thing here is, like, this says, you know, we're connected to a pipeline. All right, this is assigned to production. There we go. Yeah, it's like here. It's it's not offering me the ability to edit this. It suddenly says that's to deploy, automatically deploys from develop. Which, I mean,
go down. automatic deploys from the disable automatic deploys.
Well, we've got then the manual deploy. Oh, they've got deploy a GitHub branch. I mean, we've got disable automatic deploys. Okay, enable master. That seems very strange for that to have. I mean, maybe that was always that way and we didn't notice. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be, it's independent from the pipeline. Then that's just a setting in here.
It says auto deploys down to master.
Yeah.
Auto deploys from master. Building app. It's going to try and build it. It's going to get screwed up.
You think? I don't know. It's just going to push the code back out to where it was. I mean, what seems to have happened as well, though, is it's, I mean, it rolled back the volunteer op changes and effectively seemed to remove the, that's very strange. And what it immediately makes me think is that I would also like to have air brake. Air brake installed.
So you can see the error.
Yeah, when they happen. Is that something that we could just quickly, like Raul set that up? I wonder, is that just a question of we can do that from, we've got Heroku install air brake.
Okay, we've got back our do it all ops.
Oh, that's right. Why would, I'm not sure why they would disappear from because the develop code is now only pulling from the database, and this is the okay.
And we hadn't seeded it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we hadn't run that rake task.
No, well, I mean, and that's sort
we
of
hadn't anticipated auto deploying.
No, air brake add-on. Here we go. So we can just do we need to do other things, including the air brake in your application? We need that in the gem file. Okay, well, yeah, let's I guess maybe that's the thing that we should do first. Okay. Yeah, should we just do that? Should we get air brake onto
Yeah, sure.
So, well, let's just do that for. I mean, the thing is, we only really want it on production, but I guess we should be testing it on develop, really, if it's going to involve code changes. Select the integration that you're interested in. Rails. Has Raul done all of this? Is that it all suddenly seems more complicated than I would have imagined it to be? Okay. Heroku add-on users can omit specifying the key and ID and invoke the command without arguments. Heroku, okay. Okay, so it's going to generate a configuration file, and they've got a test for it. Okay, well, I guess that's not that involved, is it? Let's check out develop. Your branch is behind origin develop. Get full origin develop. Bundle. Okay. So what was it? I guess the sensible thing to do is to test it on develop and then turn it off, right? On develop and use it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Pending migrations.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh. So that would add those. Really? I just migrated. Oh, right. I'll migrate the test environment. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. So that's done there. This has generated some things. We've done there. That needs to be now that. So, right, and apparently we don't need to do that. Does it need? And you can confirm it from there. Okay. So we're going to need to add a gem air brake, which needs to be in production. So local support. Brain, gem file. I guess it's also got test associated with it, so well, let's just put it in at the end then. Gem air brake. Okay. So, and then for Rails, it says we want to run this Rails G air brake. Just checking all tests run there. Oh, bundle. That auto save it. Anyway, there were no. That's. I was going to. I guess if I do that now, while that's in the middle of running the tests, it will. Fortunately, the local support tests are not as involved as the website one ones. Right. Yeah, and so Rachel seems to be saying yes, she'd like the she'd like the oh god, what's it called? The process of updating the do it ops to delete, ones that are no longer appearing.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's I guess that's let's deploy the existing one and get the thing in. Oh god, what's it called in the scheduler? We've got a rate task, haven't we, for doing that?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess let's get it deployed without it in the scheduler, and check that that's the functionality is working as expected, and then
Well, the scheduler is a separate issue.
yeah.
She didn't prioritize that,
right? She didn't. She's prioritized that aspect of the scheduler removing the old ones as being higher priority than, for example, providing search or categories. Or what have you. Yeah, but we've got a chore for like setting up the scheduler. I mean, yeah. Okay, so that is looking sort of green. Yeah, did all of that discussion we were having about Do It and VBase make any sense at all?
A little bit. We're talking about changing the templates customizing the templates for a volunteer opportunity. Basically.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so that being the kind of aspect of the workflow of the main Do It system that is sort of preventing many people from wanting to use it. Okay, so now, well, that seems to. I thought it was saying that we could just add that. Because it's, and then it would for Heroku it would be all right, but it seems to have. And now, what is this? Oh God, where is it? It's in. Where's our config? Config initializes air brake. Right. So we need to have those environment variables just at least set.
Yeah.
And then do we have? I do have a .env file. Right. Which I'm not.
that provide defaults.
Well, we're not even like if you just have a .env by itself, it's not going to do anything unless you have a .env gem, right? Which I don't know that we have. By just having .env by itself doesn't magically. I mean, we could just
Probably.
I mean, I've got a piece of paper back here to stop me using that keyboard. It's bad for my back.
Just some random, yeah.
Right. We don't want notifications here, but I don't think that by itself, just having a .env file there, will no. And that's interesting thing there of them. So obviously I can configure that by hand on my local system, but then that will be something that everybody will encounter.
Yeah.
That's something where it seems like and this is maybe we're getting off target, but the Rails config. But like we could install .env, and then that .env environment would be.
Website 1, interestingly, doesn't have a .env.
No, well, as I understand, it's using this Rails config thing.
Yeah.
Which basically gives it a set of YAML files that gives it like some default stuff that gets pulled in. And the nice thing about that is that is then you've got these defaults, and you can have variations of them. So I'm sort of tempted, because that seems to have been working quite nicely. I'm sort of tempted to add that to local support. Just in order to get around this issue. I mean, I guess the thing with having that. And then I'm suddenly.
Oh.
Well, so the thing with having this then is that we then need to edit the air brake file so that it goes to the kind of settings thing. I guess the advantage with .env is that we can just leave that, in there.
True.
So it's sort of, in some ways, having. If we do that, the .env will basically take your .env file and put stuff in it. The Rails config thing, that seems to involve. Yeah, it'd be interesting what this what one wants as well, this Figaro thing. But so now we have that. No, I think the .env has to be low, right? So if we go and if we refer to the way .env works, so yeah, Rails, yeah, and then notes on load order. Using Rails up during the before configuration check, which is fine when the application constant is defined in config application.rb. If you need it to be initialized sooner, you can call it manually with Rails with that.
So it looks like you're going to have to do that. Maybe not, though.
Well, yeah, I guess in this, assuming that .env is now working, the fact that it's not configured there is it's coming in. It's not coming in early enough. So if we go and have a look in config application.rb, is it trying to tell us there about? Is there a point at which it comes in that it does require in here already? I'm longer require default Rails env. We've got Rails group. I'm not sure. No. The default notifier isn't. Is that errors changed though? Uninitialized constant .env rail tie.
Probably inside the if defined.
Maybe. Hmm. Uninitialized constant .env rail tie. Does that need? I mean, I'm kind of. Do we need to require .env there? Sort of different. I guess I was doing it with before in Sinatra. What else have we got in here? Oh, sorry, .env rails. There we go. .env rails.
Rather than just .env.
Yeah. There's a few situations like that, actually, I think. But so we may not even need any of these. Let's... Ba-dum-bum. Here we go. All right. So that .env rails gives us so that's now we've added .env rails and air brake. So we've now got .env is just loading a couple of random things for us. And then we've got our air brake initializer in there, fair enough. And then we just want to run the, we've done that, we just want to run the, you can configure it, open up the file. Oh, there's options, so there's rake, air brake test. But that file, yeah, looks, air brake is an online tool that allows robust system tracking your Rails applications. Allows it easily review errors, time to code, trace changes, sounds great. La 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 la. Rails logger. Okay. Yeah, and we've definitely removed any of those Ruby 3, Ruby 2.3 hits. And then presumably, I mean, I guess this will okay, yeah. All right. So this is now to address the, was it get air brake installed? That's this. So git checkout -b install air brake. Then we got git add dot git commit -am adds .env and air brake. git push origin. And I want to do git commits -- amend and add shift $, and then insert, and then that's fixes that. Right, and then so that's git push origin 116, and all right, that's a bit slow. Go on, Gab. Here you go. And then we can do harb pull request -b develop. Let's do that, yeah, and that. And then, did I? Yeah, I'm kind of like, after let's do addresses that. Okay, so we've got that going down the line. That is on Azure Ventures website. On LocalSupport. Should be in there as a new pull request. So potentially that could be merged, and then I just do a series of merges out to production. I guess that will just sort of be running kind of in the background. I wonder if we should just Petro. I'm not sure those files are those install scripts. Update. I would go manual. Right, where are you? Yeah, so while we're waiting for those things to build and whatever, do you want to have a look at this email validations thing while we wait for the other stuff to go on in the background? Do you want to drive?
Sure.
Yeah, just pull out that branch maybe.
For
the email validations, I'll put the name in.
okay. Copy. And what are we looking at this for? Just to...
Well, basically, I mean, get it out and see if the tests all pass. And then it was basically looking at resolving the issues and either
why it was.
I mean, a couple of them.
Those issues. Okay. Couple of the failures. The tests.
You're getting a couple of failures there. The funny thing is that the build, it says build passed according to the, but maybe that, I mean, I've had this before actually with Travis. Sometimes it says the build passed, and actually there's a couple of errors in it. Like this one has come on all green.
Open.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like
Is there anything I need to migrate for this? Or?
I wouldn't imagine so. I mean, the thing that I would be tempted to do there, I mean, run the individual.
I just did. I ran the base spec.
Okay, you read individually and it still failed. I would sync it to like merge it to develop, or make sure you've got the Lotus.
Up to date with develop inside.
Yeah. Okay. So try merging develop into it.
I just did. It's up to date.
Oh, really? So when you did, yeah. All right. So you've done the git pull origin develop. Okay. I'm surprised that I haven't synced it that recently. I guess there's maybe just like no merge conflicts. It has no conflicts with the base branch, but I'm surprised it doesn't pull anything in.
Well, what if I?
Like if I run git merge develop in my local one of that, it offers me a merge commit. And there's a whole chunk of stuff. I mean, you know, it's like just try to merge develop. Yeah, that's what I get. I mean,
yeah, that's interesting.
but it's interesting. Oh, and it didn't ask you for it didn't make you make. Did you do a commit message there?
Yeah, it did.
Right. See that's what's annoying. Like in that situation, I feel like when you do that merge and there are no conflicts, why make a merge commit?
That's what happens when you merge.
Yeah.
I think if you rebase, you don't get a merge, or you don't get a commit. So now it's all passing the specs.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, that's good. What about the Qs?
Running them.
Yeah. I don't understand what controls the circumstances in which I can, where I need the -b or not. Because sometimes it automatically just sets up tracking branches. Other times it doesn't. If I git rebase this into develop. So the interesting thing is that when I do git rebase in develop, I get a merge conflict.
Interesting.
So we get a merge conflict in base organization spec. So yours have all so everything's green there then?
Yes.
Yeah, so then the thing to look at is like, but there's been about 4, what are they called? There's been 4
Cukes that
and then you can compare with develop, and you can see all the so you can see the click on those.
So
So we've got that one there. The Superman can invite users, but only for unique emails. Right. So this is the one here. That one aspect of this is that I don't know why that shouldn't. Oh, right. We've now got a uniqueness constraint on there. So I mean, in order for the I think that, like, basically that I feel like the service should be bubbling up the error so that the user can see the admin user can see the appropriate error.
do we actually have a uniqueness constraint on there?
Well, I think well,
what's actually failing here?
Yeah, well, run it and see. Maybe they've misinterpreted it.
How do I do this automatically?
Well, if you just select it and you do Command /, it will. You can select the whole scenario and do Command / and sort of toggle backwards and forwards between commented and non-commented. So on line 30.
Undefined method ID for no class.
It presumably is that because go back to the cucumber. So the same email. Oh, one actually lines 11 and 12 have been uncommented. I mean, need to be uncommented.
Oh, right.
I'd run specifically that. Yeah, you're on 25. Oh, you're on 25.
Thought I run just that, but whatever. Seems like it's running everything.
No, I think in Cucumber, each of those little lines there, that's representing
steps, okay.
But steps rather than the scenarios. So there we go. We've got a validation failed. Email is invalid. So without users features 7, given the following organizations exist. So, well, it may be that which one is failing. I mean, just comment out line 12 and run again, and then run that one. Maybe that one will just pass now because we'll see.
Yes, it did. So
it passed.
So this crazy email was failing?
Yeah, right, because that's where the validation is running, and an attempt to create an organization with an invalid email has failed. So that test on line 25, that passed this time.
Yes.
Right. So I guess now in this feature file is that I can see on 43 there's another that's commented out. Is that all of the one that was the 2 scenarios? The other scenarios are all okay.
There's 2 other ones too.
in other locations, yeah.
Other
Right,
location.
right. But so potentially what you could do then is you could then uncomment that, you know, on 42. So yeah, select from lines 42 down to 49 as a chunk. Just I do it with the mouse, or you can you do that? I don't know if that will work. I would just use the, or even just like hold down the shift key and then hit down. That's it. Yeah, and now hit command /. There you go. And then I think fairly clearly, if we uncomment the line at the top, the line 12 or whatever it was, because obviously we'll need that thing here. So if you uncomment line 12, but then if on line 7, if we jump into that step and we just adjust the way that it creates the organization so that it doesn't do the validations. I think command B will usually just jump there.
Okay. This kind of like, for some reason, is a little.
I think you want to go declaration rather than just do command B from put the yeah. So I think what's these like validation false. Have you got a colon or a semicolon there? I know you got comma. Yeah. Okay. Yes, and then you could Let's see. In the background, I'll see if our now this may fail for a different wrong number of arguments. Because it needs some parentheses around that in the step definition. Okay, the dot of an air brake thing has passed. The coveralls have changed their
Validation create rails.
just continuing the rebase in the background and get a whole series of different merged conflicts. Yeah, just some parentheses. Yeah, give that a try.
No.
It didn't work with the parentheses. Okay, so
I wonder if that bag doesn't let you do that.
Well, I think maybe what it's maybe. But yeah, I mean what are we looking for there? We're looking for like a Rails create without validation. Rails 3 skip validations.
There's a validate false. I think that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That won't solve the.
I mean, that one there. It's expecting a single set of
argument. Yeah, so it won't fix that. I wonder if making this dot create will fix it.
Maybe.
No. Huh.
That's funny. I thought I had an example syntax for creating this in the pull request before for this. What was I think it was? Oh, try save.
Yeah, it looks like people are saying save, which is
So I mean, I think that we've got the org. So maybe you need to do organization build, or new or whatever. Yeah, new and then new and then save. Yeah, that looks about right. And then I guess I've got this. Do I want to test air brake on develop?
So we're getting an unhandled VCR request for that.
That's interesting.
Do we need to? We have VCR enabled there.
Is VCR is VCR enabled at the top of the file?
No.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, what were we doing before? We had create exclamation mark, and now we're doing new and.
So which one does this actually raise this on? Let me just run 40. Obviously, that's gonna probably raise the issue. No. Did it raise it on 43?
You're still a bit blocked
So
up in
what is it actually raising it on?
Go.
I think your silent thing is. Yes.
Okay, so I guess I can run a test now on.
It's raising it down here. Invited user email is out of date.
Hmm.
When I edit the charity email of yet another work to be a different other email at charity.com, that's the point at which it raises the error.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I noticed that scenario is not
calling out.
I mean, I guess maybe that implies that in the past that create thing was not doing something that we're now doing with the save. So I mean, to be honest, with this kind of thing, like I would say, we should have at VCR at the. I mean, it. I guess there's an argument that says you should only run VCR when you need it, but it feels to me like it should be. I mean, I guess the simple thing is to add VCR in there. I guess it will tell us if anything ever runs anything else. What was the URL that it was going to with the VCR? It's a
geocode URL.
Yeah. Interesting.
So everything passes now with that change.
Okay.
What's Puffing Billy do?
So Puffing Billy is like VCR, but it does it for the client instead of the server.
Oh, okay.
And I'd really like to introduce it on website 1.
So it's like
it's basically providing a proxy server for the client, so the JavaScript is all running and potentially making requests.
That's what got Gmaps to pass, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So okay, so that's cool. That's a lovely. Right, that just works. That's good. So I guess the question is, can we do the same for the other couple of outstanding?
I'll go into
Cucumber. What's it?
Features. Get, compare with, develop. That's interesting. Fix associations. Okay. Okay, as a side owner, so that my invitation stop relationship. So obviously this must have failed.
Presumably. You still a bit bunged up? Did your cold get worse over the weekend?
What?
You were complaining of a blocked nose on Friday.
Maybe a little better.
Oh, good. Good to hear that. Okay. So that was the same sort of error we had before.
And now when I did that, there's a maybe we should look that out for right now. So the error is undefined method organization ID for a no class.
Right.
919.
But so
maybe that's misleading. The associations are destroyed.
I mean, is the
It must be because white space doesn't. Or
yeah, I would say, yeah, line. Like, we need to look under the hood at line 15. Like, presumably, it's trying to save the white space thing at the, and it's failing the validation, I would imagine. And yeah, or at least we need to look at. Why don't you just do Command B when you're on the jump you straight there? Anyway, so there that save operation. So you could put save validation false there on line 545. I would guess.
Nothing actually failed in that way. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I think save without an exclamation mark will fail silently, so it won't have that white space associated with it.
Oh.
And probably similarly on line 555. I mean, that's weird. Given associations are destroyed for, maybe that one's. I mean, I guess that I would say that at the very least they should be save exclamation mark, because us not seeing, we don't want to save something in a step and have it fail silently. I'd say on lines 553 and 555. We need to know if these things are. There was another one you missed.
What?
There's a line 553.
So I mean that's still
Right, but now say run it again with the having added that exclamation mark to all three places, and possibly run it as I say without the you do BE cucumber rather than BE.
What are you saying?
Rather than doing BEC, do BE cucumber, just in case that's. I mean, it's probably not. But.
No, it doesn't like that.
But BE cucumber.
Command not found. Bundle underscore exact.
No, because I think that's because your alias is bundle underscore exec instead of bundle exec.
Yeah.
So you need to fix your alias.
Well,
but you're going to do that first. Okay. There we go. Email is invalid. Basic steps 553. So I guess the path of least resistance is put validate false on 553 and 556. I guess it's basically we've introduced an invalid email in the previous step, and then it's trying to do other things and manipulate it. I mean, is that for the user? undefined method organization equals for nil class basic steps 554. So the user is nil for some reason. I'd slap a debugger in there, I think.
Maybe we need to on this on.
Yeah, maybe.
So the super admin command B. Okay. I'll run that again. So those features are passing. But there was one other. Then I should see white space. None associations. What is this? None will show on the invited users page because we don't show.
I think that's a comment.
Without associations there?
Yeah, I assume those two lines are a comment.
So should I just delete that comment?
It
seems like something that was. Is that new? It's probably new. Pair with branch, develop. Yeah, that was introduced. No, actually. Why is that showing up as a... For some reason, he got rid of white space. Okay. He moved... Okay, you touched that comment. It's not really... Then I should... Okay. So it's down here. Then I should not see white space. Then I should see white space. So these two potentially... Okay, that's passing. All right, and then I go in and do get, compare with branch, develop. There's a lot of things he commented out. This test is superfluous with you features. Where was that? Did you get rid of this?
Get rid of what?
Admin monitor.
I mean, I didn't personally remove any tests. The guy who was working on this, commented lots of them out, but that's.
I'm not seeing this online. Oh, this is the wrong one. Okay, and then moderate proposed. Sorry. So, if an admin moderates an organization to be added to Hero CN, right? Do we still want this test?
Invalid email garners message with superadmin accepts proposed organization.
So if somehow in the database there's an invalid email on the org, Do we still want this test?
I guess in principle, this one is one where
If something exists right now before we roll this out, then it could fail.
right. I mean, the interesting thing though is that there's two-stage thing like this. I mean that's kind of a ridiculous step there. It says, and having accepted proposed organization name friendly, I see no invitation email was sent because the email. But so what it should be there is
I think this is because you wanted it dried out.
maybe, but it still seems an excessively long statement. But so it's like there's it's initially creating a proposed organization,
And then you
it's clicking accept, and it's going through.
Yes.
Even if there is an existing proposed organization that has an invalid email, there'll be. I think it's still a valid test because, or at least this is not in its current form. But yeah, so if you uncomment it and run it, the problem is I think that the service fails under the hood, and that this is the one we're talking about. That the service should bubble the error back up to the, the.
Okay.
Yeah, so we get an error. The validation failed. So the first step is let's update the proposed organization creation step to save with validation false.
What?
So this validation fails here in the service, I presume, like that factory step
No,
RB6.
it doesn't seem like we got anywhere.
Well, I think we have to take us to. Well, go to the factory steps.
I don't see the app org anywhere in the stack trace.
Okay, no, it's a good. Or yeah, I guess it's still failing on trying to create the proposed organization. So what's the line in the code where it creates the proposed organization?
Sorry, that was the wrong. It's not the right one. It's here.
Okay.
Hopefully we see the app service. Yeah. Accept proposed organization RB24.
Okay.
Proposed organization RB5. Accept proposal. Models. Proposed organization. So this fails here on this line. On line 5, yeah.
Right there. And so we shouldn't change that to
context of this is that it's called from the services set proposal organizational line 24, which calls it right here. Yeah. So I mean, Go on.
Well, so there we've got the accept proposal there. Like what we want is for the error not to stop the operation of it. We want the error to sort of come back up. But why is the error? I'm a bit confused about why the error is occurring where it does, or not occurring where it does, but like if you go back to the stack trace. So we're getting the validation fails in proposed organization RB5 when we call save with an exclamation mark.
Yeah.
But we basically what we want to do is, I guess we want to try that, and if the validation fails, then we want to pass that back up through the service and let the interface know that that's what's happened. Like at the moment, we've got that the test what it's expecting that no, if you look at the cucumbers,
but we've got a little bit of a so. In some ways, it's really the same message, right? Invalid email.
yeah, here that if user, so that response. I mean, we've got down there, haven't we? Like, yeah, response if uninvited registered user from proposal response invalid email. Where does that invalid email get triggered? Okay, we've got case result of inviting dot status. See, we've then got that is what the hell? Result of inviting create invitation response object comes from the creation of invite unregistered user from proposed org dot new email. So there's another service there on line 30 that's generating that thing.
Yeah.
So do you want to like open the invite unregistered from proposed org so we can look at it? So just do command.
When we run this step here, it's just going to fail and crash.
No, I understand that, but I'm trying to understand the logic associated. So again, just command B if will take you to the thing. I'm just trying to work out here where it's looking at. So it's got the invalid email. Oh, you've gone back to that one there. Run. Create response object. Okay, so I guess what it's doing here, if we look down at the very bottom of the file in this create response object, is that basically, yeah, it's wrapping issues associated with the user, presumably because the user email has validations on it, like the devise validations.
Yeah. So now we've got organization email issues.
Right. But so, I mean, I guess if one wanted to have this service, I mean, if we followed the pattern, then what we should be doing is when we try to, like when we try to on line 24, when we try to accept the proposal, I guess actually in the other service, is it saving the user with a bang? What's it doing to the user in the other service?
In the other service?
The invite unregistered user from proposed org service. Like, because it's got like, it's doing like the create response object is creating a user. So it's doing user.invite exclamation mark. And then it does like, it sets some things and then it asks, is user valid? And then create the response object. What's that user.invite bang doing? Does that actually create? I mean, that's passing it a block, but like, is invite invite has been set up
that's a devise method.
The invite exclamation mark.
Yeah, that's something devise invitation provides or whatever that gem is that we're using.
Okay, so then we end up with user is in a certain state. It hasn't, because that's what I'm like here, like you know, the invite bang, you might expect it to, using the Rails thing, like throw errors and then it would just sort of fail. but it looks like basically it, potentially creates the object, and then
Yeah.
on line 47, it has a look as if there are any errors. So I guess if we switched it in the other, go back to the previous service. So, like, if this accept proposal, instead of trying to save bang the org, just save the org, we could then check here for any org errors, and then create the appropriate response object and pass it back up. Do you know what I mean?
Or we could what am I thinking of? Oh, we could just well, I mean, we could follow that pattern, but we want to do a private method for this.
Well, it's an interesting question there about the whole. I mean, it's kind of what seems slightly odd about the way this service is structured is that basically we've got an object that has all of the errors on it, and we're creating. I mean, I guess this is like an adapter thing. We're trying to make the services independent of all of the Rails stuff.
So how about this? How about what is that proposed org? Okay. So if the proposed org is valid, then we actually accept it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that kind of feels like it's breaking Demeter.
Some
ways.
Right. So there you're talking about. Right. I mean, I think. Well, what we should be doing there is it would be a guard clause where if the proposed org isn't valid, then we need to send back a response to the, that indicates that it's not valid, rather than. Do you know what I mean?
Well, how do we do that? I mean,
well, I mean, we've got to. If you go back to that can all stay as it is. Go back to the service. So what we need to do is we need to create an invitation response object.
right.
So we could have the thing here be that basically, like if the proposed org, you could do it unless proposed org valid at the start, and then we could just do, and then that org should just now be outside that block there. And then so in 25, then we would just do a create invitation response object and pass it through, and make sure that it has the pass it something where the result of inviting thing is I mean that's but then even here, I mean, it's an interesting question about whether like,
I mean, this has been tightly wrapped around getting results back from device.
Has it though?
Yes.
Because this result of inviting, look, the result of inviting is on line 39, comes back from the invite unregistered user from proposed org. So if you go to invite unregistered user from proposed org service again, right, it's creating a response object here, and it's got like 2 layers of wrapping on it. What seems strange to me is why can't the response object here, which we control, right, which has all of these things, just be passed back directly? Do you know what I mean?
Rather than this case statement.
Yeah, I mean, I guess is it modifying? I mean, what it does is here is it sort of takes, you know, the invite unregistered user proposed org passes back a response object that has, you know, various like can be in various configurations, and then what it does is it sort of like it creates a new response object on line 40 or 43 or whatever, kind of I don't know. It's like it's got this set of paired nested response objects, which seems kind of crazy to me. I mean, but it seems like in principle, to just the path of least resistance there on line 25 is if we put in whatever, like a create response invitation response object, and we do like a response.new. Sorry, not that thing. If we on 25, if you do instead of invite unregistered user from proposed org, if you did response.new, and then oh my god,
What? I don't get what you're doing.
well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pass
to directly return a response.
I'm trying to pass something into create invitation response objects so that it will do the equivalent of what it does on line 42, right? Which is to send back a
Well, obviously you need.
Actually, I mean, to be honest, what we could do there, just copy line 43 and place it on line 25. No, I think it needs to be invalid email.
And then we have to pass it.
But so invalid org email doesn't exist. So don't you want to do it invalid email? Response invalid email?
No, because that's a different.
Really? Okay. But I don't think it is, to be honest. But
In some ways, it is.
well,
I mean, I guess they're.
I mean, it's the same thing because we only ever start with the proposed organization email. And
Right.
Even if it's getting all the way through to the other thing, it's still that the original proposed organization email was invalid. And that's, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's at least see if this approach.
So what was our error over here in like from proposed? Sorry. Why did we have to pass another error? I guess.
I mean, that's it can be the same. What I mean, the interesting. Will this approach even work?
Email. So when does this actually occur? Invite unregistered user from proposed org, result of inviting. Email is invalid. Right. Okay. Now if we run this test, maybe we'll get a different error. Couldn't find organization. Right, because you're trying to redirect to an organization that wasn't saved.
Is it trying to redirect to an organization?
I mean, it had to have been saved though.
Well, no, because it's got a proposed organization that exists, and but that's going to the organization's controller, not the proposed organization. So,
True.
okay, so is this then? and that's organizations controller line 31. Is that's then because controllers organizations controller line 31. Why is it going to? Why is it trying to show us the organization? Like, shouldn't it stay on showing us the proposed organization?
No, because
the proposed organization exists, right? And then, I mean, it seems like, I mean, I guess that the original thing, the error occurs after the organization has been created,
saved, yes.
and then, but which is the? So this is proposed organization controller. What's the mechanism that's coming through the system in order to accept it? Like when they click the accept button, that's through like the admin interface, or
I don't know actually.
User reports controller up to, yeah. So we've got decline and approve. So we've got that's user organization claimer.
What are you saying?
I'm being asked questions like, Maran, what's the new priorities? I mean, later on today. I mean, I need to break for lunch. What is this? Oh, she's looking at the code here. Like, if we look in the feature, what feature are we in? What's the feature?
Admin moderate proposed organizations feature, scenario 55.
Admin moderate proposed organization feature, line 55, having accepted. So we've got this. So we've got visit proposed organization, and then we press the acceptance for the proposed organization. Okay. So we've got the proposed organizations controller, which we are viewing an individual proposed organization. So the view for the proposed organization.
So now we basically need to know.
Right, so super admin can press a thing to accept an individual organization.
It's right here on line 14 in that controller where we're redirecting.
Okay, so it redirects to organization path.
Yeah. So if the result is
okay, yeah, and return false. So the interesting thing here is that it redirects to the organization path independently of whether the organization was accepted or not. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because we always accepted the org. It was just a matter of whether the user was going to be notified.
Invited or not, right? Okay.
But now that we have that validation on there, we can accept them. Or maybe, I mean, we could potentially accept them. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting to look at. I mean, what we should be doing here is that in the situation that we've got a proposed org, we sort of want to, you know, say to the admin, this email is invalid. You know, please edit it before accepting the organization, which in principle the admin can do. Can they edit proposed organizations? Maybe not, though.
I think they can as a site admin. Yeah, they can.
Well, I don't know that they can, because the proposed organization controller, the update is doing this accept or decline thing. It's not, we don't have standard CRUD functionality in place for the proposed organization.
True.
And I think there's a bigger problem there. So I think that unravels a thing here. So, I mean, I think there's kind of a major refactoring there and a question about what should be happening in that situation. And so then the question is, do we just remove that test? Or do we say, right, we shouldn't push this functionality out until we've resolved that issue about the flow for the, the admin who might find themselves in this situation, although it's kind of a corner case, which we could basically address by reviewing we could run a task that checks the validity of all of the existing proposed organizations in the system, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could.
To avoid experiencing this thing. Yeah, I think. I mean, yeah. Let's put this down for a while. I need to eat some lunch. And Marilyn's asking about that. So I think I've got AirBrake working on.
What do I want with this branch?
Hmm.
What do I want to do with this branch?
Well, I would hold on to it for the moment.
Just hold on to it locally.
You could push it. You could push your maybe create. You could, I don't know. Yeah, if you just for backup, you could push it to you could push it to the existing branch, and then and I don't know. Up to you. I'm finding it more and more difficult to think as my blood sugar level starts to dip. So yeah, and we'll come back to all this in an hour or so. Yeah.
Back in like an hour.
Yeah. I just local support. Marilyn is asking for what he says. Has he done something on? Didn't see any comments about Figaro. Where is the?
Will you take an hour or an hour and a half?
I'll try and make it an hour.
Yeah. What else? What do you want to work on after lunch?
Well, what I would like to do is put this thing that we're doing here aside for a moment and finish getting the deployment of all the stuff to oh God, what's it called?
Staging.
Yeah. So the develop stuff is done. AirBrake is working there. What I will just do now. That's website 1.
Did you look at Rose's comments?
I did see them. Yeah.
It seems to imply that we might have a silent error.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, basically what she's saying is that there's test coverage report that she's getting locally is different from what the grader is reporting. So yeah, git checkout develop. No, yeah, I've got them git checkout staging. Git.
No, but she also said that other students were getting back comments, or other students were getting back more feedback on their specs.
Yes. Well, I think when they fail, they get feedback. When they pass, they don't. But
well, I don't know. She was seeming to say that.
What you could
really, I don't know.
What you could really do to help me here actually would be a huge favor. If you could just go through what she said in here and put them into taking out the images or what have you, and just filing. One of the things I meant to do this morning, but then I didn't get to, is and file them as bug reports on the actual RAG system. Do you know what I mean? So there we've got SARSbook RAG, and just checking for other existing issues on test. I don't think we've got anything on the test coverage stuff and the whatever. Yeah. maybe, well, somebody else's previous issues. But yeah, if you could file the appropriate issues, that would be hugely helpful. Okay, cool. And I'll see you in about an hour. Yeah. All right. Thanks. And then all is that, yeah, yeah. The sequence for after lunch is try and complete the deploy of everything on local support to the point that we've got we've got air brake, we've got deleting volunteer ops, and we've got the new longer range do it things all live on production. And if that's all working relatively straightforwardly, then we can set up the schedule for it to update daily, and then depending upon what time it is, we could move on to potentially editing or working on making it so that scheduled thing deletes stuff that is being removed from the do it side.
Right.
Or we could come back to this thing that we've been working on, depending on what we feel like. So, and if it all goes wonderfully smoothly, we could even run an end-to-end test of the website one thing on staging. But let's see how it goes, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
Reasonable plan. All right. I'll see you in a bit.